from a reliable trading partner to dangerously close to becoming an outright enemy. Yes, I'm talking about China here. Australia and China, how did these two countries end up in this precarious position? China has been Australia's largest or biggest trading partner for many years now. The bilateral trade between these two countries is worth $215 billion each year. These two countries are signatories of WTO, which is the World Trade Organization. The trade between these two countries has been smooth like silk for a long time. Heaps of Australian-made products end up in Chinese market every year. Barley, dairy products, wine, minerals such as iron ore, gas, coal, they all end up in Chinese market. Likewise, heaps of Chinese-made products are also end up in Australia's market. China's economy has been booming for a long time, which means that Australia has benefited from it, and Australia's economy has been booming alongside with China, largely due to the economic activities that was happening in mainland China. Moreover, thousands and thousands of Chinese students come to Australian shores to pursue their higher education. The relationship between these two countries has been really good for a long time. Now and then, Australia has complained that China has been spying on its government agencies, but mostly the relationship has been good. But something has changed recently. China has imposed a 80% tariff on Australian barley, and they have also stopped importing beef from 3 major Australian abattoirs. The Chinese government has also advised its citizens not to travel to Australia, citing systematic racism as a reason. It has also warned its students studying in Australia of racism. On the other hand, Australian agency DFAT, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, has advised its citizens, that is Australians, not to travel to China, saying they can be arbitrarily arrested or detained by the Chinese government. Australian government has done something interesting very recently. That is today, Scott Morrison has announced that he will allow or provide a pathway for Hong Kong residents, mostly Hong Kong students studying in Australia, to become an Australian citizen once they complete their studies. Initially, they will be provided with a 5-year visa after they complete their studies, and that will provide a pathway for them to become Australian citizen. This is due to the new security law that China has introduced in Hong Kong. The British government has already announced, Boris Johnson has already announced that they will provide a pathway for Hong Kong residents, that is 3.5 million Hong Kong residents, to become UK citizens. But then it's their responsibility, because this whole mess that has been happening in Hong Kong was caused by them. They are the ones who invaded Hong Kong in 1816, and when they left them in a limbo in 1997. But anyway, what happened between China and Australia? You don't have to look too far back. In May, Australia tabled a resolution in WHO, which is the World Health Assembly, asking for an independent investigation into this coronavirus. They didn't name China in that resolution, but then China was clearly pissed off, because we all know that this virus originated from China. 121 countries supported this resolution, and WHO passed this resolution. Of course, China is upset. Last month, Scott Morrison announced that Australia will be spending $290 billion in the next 10 years to improvise Australia's military strength. Scott Morrison mentioned that it is mainly due to the reason the post-COVID-19 world is going to be more poorer and more dangerous. And also the expansion of China has been a major worrying factor for Australia. China has been flexing its muscles, and its actions in South China Sea has been a major concern for Australia for a long time now. China recently turned its attention towards India as well. The Chinese military and the Indian military clashed at the Indo-China border recently. Dozens of men died on both sides. India somewhat has the capacity, the military capacity, and also has the economic strength to stand up to Chinese aggression in the region. Indian government has recently banned 59 Chinese apps. In response to the incident, they have banned 59 Chinese apps, including TikTok, in India. 2 months before this, Indian government had put restrictions on foreign direct investments, particularly from China and the other bordering nations to India. So If any Chinese companies have to invest in China, they have to get approval from the Indian Financial Board. Can Australia do the same here? Can Australia call China's bluff? There has been more barking from Chinese side than bite. Can Australia call China's bluff? Leave your comments in the section below. Thank you so much.